right, so we'll give it one more minute. As some of you may have just heard, we are going to record the webinar. We will have this posted out to our website so that if others in your organization would like to be able to listen in and be able to view the webinar, we can certainly make that available as well. And we'll give it to just about 12:01 to officially get kicked off. All right, so good afternoon, everybody. My name is Emily Carlson. I am a principal consultant with Divurgent. On the phone with me today, I have Jose Maldonado and Jeff Baker, who will be primarily leading the webinar. But we wanted to take this opportunity to thank you. Ourselves here at Divurgent, we've recently gone through a Microsoft Teams implementation, and as the Microsoft technology team, we were excited about it. We've seen a lot of great functionality, and we wanted to share some of that insight as we continue to transform through our really our use of Teams and how we utilize it on a daily basis. So thank you for joining. We are recording the session, as I had previously stated, but we'll make this available to everybody who's attended and to also out on our website so that if you want, you could share it out to other people within your organization who are unable to attend this session. So Jose and Jeff, why don't you do a quick introduction about your roles? And Jose, I think you've got a PowerPoint with our names on them if you want to share that out. But again, thank you. We're excited to have you here. And really, Jose, Jeff, do a quick intro and then let's just get started.
Yeah, I'm Jeff Baker. I've been in the industry 17 years plus, Microsoft certified, SMEs and just about anything I've been doing. So, and I'm pretty sure Jose's the same way. So we'll let him introduce himself, but been Divurgent for 2 years now.
Yes, I'm Jose Maldonado, also a Microsoft SME, 15 plus years in the IT industry, dealing with all the Microsoft technologies.
And just really quick before Emily kicks us back off here, at the very top, you should see, the recording has started at the very top of your screen, and ask for privacy policy and dismiss at the very top of your screen. So you can either dismiss just the notice. It just lets you know that, it's being recorded.
Also, you should also see at the top right of your screen where it says show conversation. And you can actually, during the presentation, if you can just type out your questions or hold the questions towards the end so we can get past the presentation as quickly as possible. Can someone please mute?
Great, thanks. I'm going to go at this point in time. I believe all attendees have been muted. So Jose, why don't you get us kicked off?
Okay. All right. So welcome to the Divurgent Teams webinar. Again, hosting this would be Emily Carlson, myself, Jose Maldonado, and my esteemed colleague, Jeff Baker.
Hello.
All right. So Microsoft Teams. So we've all been using Skype for Business. Some organizations use, in combination with that, Slack or Rocket Chat. So basically, Teams is replacing Skype for Business, and it's a combination of Skype for Business, SharePoint, and Slack or Rocket Chat. And basically, it all sits on the SharePoint platform. All right, so it's a chat-based workspace. Teams fits in the Office 365 collaboration portfolio by giving teams access to the information they need in a dedicated hub for teamwork. Here, people find their team chat, content, people, and tools living together in Office 365. All right, so again, the communication piece. So we have chat, meetings, and calling. These are probably three of the top pillars of Microsoft Teams. With Collaboration, content sharing. We can share files, edit files simultaneously at the same time in real time, see what each other's doing.
And also, this point here too is that when we add a file here or we add it in a chat, that you will always be able to edit it simultaneously, or you don't have to go back out to SharePoint now because it is saved in SharePoint every time you edit it. Now you don't have to go back out there, download the app or the file, edit it, and then upload it again. Now we can do it all at the same time, and that will be discussed a little bit more in depth later on.
Good point. You can customize your team's web space or workspace with web-based applications. You can integrate those applications. There are a good selection of project management web applications that can be integrated that you guys are familiar with. It could be Trello, it could be Asana, Microsoft Planner. You can also connect social media like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. We all know that these have become integral parts of, or components of our daily work operations.
And some of the other tools that are in there is Zoom, WebEx, Salesforce, Citrix. So it's all integrated connectors where you can move everything in and out. And they have over 100 plus apps in here, and they're added to every month, where they've added something else that Microsoft has approved. So they're always in here.
Now, remember, with an app like Salesforce, you would have to log in with your credentials to be able to connect it to Teams. And Teams is basically acts like a dashboard. I'm sure it may have limited functionality, but it will act as a dashboard so you can see into your Salesforce account or database right from Teams without having to flip screens or go back and forth between applications.
And you'd only need to sign in just the one time.
Correct.
At the very beginning, and then it caches your credentials.
So you can also always work with enterprise level security that Office 365 provides, because it does sit on SharePoint. All right, so a team is a group of people brought together for the purpose of achieving a common objective. So it is with Microsoft Teams. So within each team, you have different channels, which are topics, and within each channel, that's where you have your conversations. And conversations are threaded so you can keep track of them. A team's workspace could be a department, or it could be a project, or a subcomponent of a project.
Or it could be a part of an OU. You know, if you're doing Active Directory, you can do it that way also.
So in Teams, you have group chats, and you also have private chats for those times that you want to just have a one-on-one conversation. In private and group chats, only the people in the chat can see your messages. Think of them like text messages. Have a private chat to develop a great idea with your most trusted colleagues, then share it with the entire organization in a channel. Channels can be seen by everyone on the team. So think of them like Facebook or social media posts. They're all about working out in the open.
And your group chats will be seen by everybody in that group.
Yep.
So
I want to cover meetings. Before I do, just want to note here and display that Microsoft found in a published report, organizations were not satisfied with their current meeting approach and found them to be somewhat unproductive. Team meetings can ease collaboration efforts, increase productivity, leading to shorter task timelines, or simply a better work product in less time. All right, so meetings for everyone. Like Skype, you can still meet from anywhere. It's clear that artificial intelligence, or AI, can someone mute, please? Thank you. So it's clear that artificial intelligence, or AI, will be an essential part of the way we communicate and collaborate. And it already is. Tying in AI technologies with business communication applications such as team collaboration and unified communication can improve productivity, save time, and improve the overall business flow. Oops, sorry. Meetings works all the time, regardless of device or connection, securely on the Office 365 platform. So Teams can be used on your desktop or laptop PC, tablet, mobile phone, simply from your browser. Now, I just want to make a note that within your browser, Teams has limited functionality, so it's recommended that you download and install the Teams app onto your device. I have personally used it on several PCs, on my Mac, my iPad, iPhone, and I've also used the browsers just to test the functionality. But again, it's recommended that you download the Teams app.
And one quick point on this is, especially when you're using your phones, because if you're using your phones and you're trying to do it the web, you can't turn off the notifications. If you download it to your phones, you can have quiet times. You know, mine's set from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. I don't get any notices whatsoever on my phone during those times. And then at 7 o'clock, it all starts coming through all at once. So that's the really good part about downloading it.
I guess that's good and bad, huh, Jeff?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
All right. So Meet Anywhere. So Teams does give a consistent experience across all your devices, making it almost device agnostic. I say almost because I don't want the help desk to get calls that users cannot find the Teams app on their smart TV. And that might be coming soon, but Microsoft really isn't there yet. It has the simplicity of scheduling, starting, and joining meetings, and a great on-the-go experience. Our managing principal schedules and conducts meetings even while traveling in hotel lobbies, airports, elevators, and once on a flight in midair. I have joined impromptu Teams meetings from my car, sitting in the parking lot of the local grocery store. And I'm not sure about Microsoft, but Divergent most certainly does not recommend collaborating on Teams while driving. Okay, so content sharing will increase productivity and collaboration. Teams can work on a document simultaneously where each member can view in real time what the other is editing. Gone are the days of passing documents back and forth with relentless revisions and endless email threads. So here's a question. How many times have you been a part of an email thread that went on with several team members trying to convey some sort of idea, message, or solution that the rest of the team couldn't grasp?
I personally have done it 847 times in this past year.
And I'm sure I was a part of 800 of those. So
and I was probably the instigator of all 847, right, Jeff?
Yes.
Yeah. So again, so we've all been on plenty of those, and where it almost resulted each and every time in the manager or project manager or program manager saying, let's jump on a call out of frustration. So based on that scenario, would you agree there's a loss of productivity given that approach?
Yes.
So teams can help manage from the most complex of projects to the simplest of daily tasks involving collaboration, as if team members were all in the same room. All right, so let's take a quick look at a couple snapshots of Teams before we go into the demo. Jeff, you want to explain this screen?
Oh, excuse me. I was trying to verify on my smart TV whether or not the Teams was on there or not.
Okay. All right. So this is a snapshot of the chat screen within Teams, and here we have a user who has, and you can see at the top left, they're having private chats with Ray, Beth, and Ko. However, they added a few more users, MJ, Ivan, Babik, and Jasmine, to that same chat. So what it does is it doesn't continue the same private chat. It leaves it intact and creates a new group chat. From there, if you wanted to make a Teams call out to every single person in that group chat, at the top right, you can click on either the call button or video call.
And we're not going to do that right now because we don't want to disconnect this call.
It would disconnect, yes. Okay.
We have found that out. You cannot have two calls going on at once.
Well, you can. We'll put one on hold.
Yes.
Automatically without warning.
Yes.
Okay. So one good feature about video meetings, so when you have to have a meeting and you're broadcasting video, there's a video background blur. So sometimes you have something going on in the background that you just can't help. So blurring would be a good feature, so that way they can
Now,
focus on just the speaker.
and that would be an IE, a nanny in the background, or if you're sitting on the beach, you can blur out the water in the background and continue on with your meeting.
Well, Jeff, is a good rule of thumb not to take electronics near salt water unless you have a 5-gallon bucket of dry rice. But okay.
Mm, that's noted.
All right. So another good feature is cloud recording and playback. So now, if you have to have a meeting and let's say 5 members cannot attend, one is out sick, 4 on vacation, so on and so forth, you don't have to find the time to reschedule necessarily, or it could be a training and you can record the meeting as we're doing this one, and then is available for playback on Microsoft Stream or OneDrive to the organization or those members.
Also here too, we'll discuss it a little bit more in depth in a minute, but you can add team notes, meeting notes, and this will always be saved here as long as somebody doesn't delete the channel. It will always be saved right here, so they can always go back to that meeting. You'll always see the notes. You can add to this meeting. You can just end the meeting and never add to it again, but you can always go back to this meeting.
Yep. All right. So now I've been on my mobile phone and have been a part of a Teams meeting, and I may be walking out of a client site. I could have been on Wi-Fi at that particular time, and then as I walk out the building, I lose the Wi-Fi connection, and it has to switch off to the cellular data. So that handoff usually is seamless, right? So even when it's not, I will get disconnected briefly, maybe for 3 or 4 seconds, and then it will rejoin the meeting once I'm on the new network. I was landing in Des Moines, Iowa, driving to a client site with one of the client employees, and I saw this 150,000 square foot warehouse, and they were telling me that that warehouse was something that Microsoft just built, and it was a data center. And I've found out as I've been studying Azure throughout the past few years that they have been building these data centers globally. And that's why we have these reconnect features, because Azure and everything that sits on Azure is connected globally through these data centers.
And also here, as it shows on the screenshot here, I've been in the airport, and I know Jose and Emily also, that, we've lost connection. And when it picks it back up, you're automatically brought back to the meeting that you were on. I mean, it goes right back in. You never thought you were not there. You don't have to sign back in. You don't have to put any numbers in. You don't have to call. But if the call does not come back on the Wi-Fi, it does give you the option to dial in or call it back, have them call it back to you to join back in that way also. But I have used this quite a bit in the airport. But it's just when you're in the airport, you just got to remember there's another 1,000 people there trying to use the Wi-Fi there too.
Good point. Okay, so this is a screenshot of scheduling a meeting, right, amongst your group chat. So remember the group chat that we displayed a few screens ago? So so I guess the user decided to schedule a meeting within the group chat, and it automatically adds all the members of that group chat. Okay, and then this would be the result if you go into meetings and then click on that particular meeting. This is the screen that you would get. You can chat with participants by clicking on the chat with participants. You can join the meeting by clicking on the join button at the top right. In the middle here, you'll have the details of the meeting. You'll have your Microsoft Teams meeting link along with any dial-in numbers or information. And it also lists your attendees on the right-hand side. Okay, so this is what Jeff was referring to. So after the meeting was already completed, if you go into your chats, you will see under recents the marketing review meeting. So here, all the chatting that took place during the meeting will be listed here. Anything that was shared during the meeting, any files, will show up there also, and also meeting notes if they had become if any were taken.
And also on the meeting notes, when they are taken, they are in real time, so everybody will be able to see what's being wrote down or typed in for the meeting notes, and the files will be saved. You'll see those in the chats, and you'll see it under the files tab on the upper corner.
Yeah, so that's a good point. So anything typed up in the meeting notes is seen by anyone, any attendee of the meeting. Anything typed up in a Teams channel can be viewed by anybody, any team member of that workspace. The only time that you can have private chats would be during a private chat where it's just between you and that person, or a group chat where it's with you and several persons. Um, and I think that the meeting count can be up to 999 attendees. The
Wow.
group chats are limited to 9, but I just got a bulletin from Microsoft this morning that they're expanding that to 100. But that won't that'll take place sometimes between June and July, and that will happen in the background. Users won't have to make any changes.
And also, this is all being updated frequently, so those numbers will probably increase quite a bit. And just really quick too on these your recent chats, they are, as one of the questions have already been asked, is that the chats will be saved into this chat. They do not get deleted. You can hide the chats as of right now. Microsoft is still working on deleting the chats if you want to delete them, but as of right now, they will always be saved here. You can hide them by right-clicking on it and just hide the chat if you're done talking with the person and you don't want to ever reference it again. But they're saved here and not in Exchange or in your Outlook.
Okay, so with that said, let's get started with the demo. Okay, so here we have a group chat. So this started out with a chat between Jeff Baker and I, and what I did was I went over to the right hand side where it says add people, and then I typed in a name, and then I can add that person to uh, the group chat. I'm going to cancel that out, and then like we explained before, if we wanted to call make a group call, I can choose the audio call
Yeah,
button
you
or the
might
video
not want to
call
do
button.
that right now
No,
because
I
it will
definitely don't.
disconnect us again.
Yeah, I've done
But
that before.
it will call. Well, if he clicks call, it will call Emily and it will call me. Now, whether or not we both answer or not is a different story, but it will call us and it will put us all in this call as a call and not a chat anymore. And the same way for video, it will, if you have video that's turned on or it's access, you click that video, it's going to start showing the video.
Okay. So also one of the things in Teams that is common, you can at mention someone. So this is a group chat, and there are 3 members: myself, Jeff, and Emily. So if I wanted to send out a chat to the group, visible to the group, however, I wanted to send the message directly to Jeff or to mention Jeff so he could take a look or take a particular action, I would do add Jeff, and then his name would pop up. I'd select it, and I could say, check out the latest docs. Okay. So then he will get notified that he was mentioned in Teams, and it will take him directly to that chat or to that conversation within the Teams workspace, and he can review whatever it is.
And I get a pop-up in my lower right-hand corner saying of my desktop saying, "Hey, you've got a chat.
Okay.
You just been mentioned."
Yep. So let's switch over to the private chat between Jeff and I. And I deleted certain messages, and this is what I get. I don't know that the actual label of saying this message has been deleted will go away. I'm sure that Microsoft will um, im- make improvements or release features that will allow that to go away. But at least the messages are not displayed any longer. So yesterday I added a GIF just to kind of say hello uh, in the afternoon of all times. But so down here we have the message field. So I can type a message here, just say hello, hit enter, and it sends. It will post a message. I also have formatting options here right below the message field. If I click on that, now I get more options for formatting. So I can type up hello again. I can go ahead and make that bold, italicized. I can underline it. I can highlight it, whatever color I choose. I can make the font bigger or smaller. I can mark it as important. Okay, and then here the difference is if I hit enter, it's just going to return to the next line.
And you can add, the dots or the comments, all that, just like you use in a Word document. Also, basically, that's what it is.
And then here, I would have to go down to the bottom right and click on the paper plane to send the message, and there it is. So the difference between this message and the next, as far as notifications, is he's going to get that exclamation point to let him know that there is a message there and it's marked important.
And that shows up in my chat.
Yep.
It'll show up in my chat, and once you've scrolled over it, then the exclamation point will go away. But and also is that when he sent that chat to me, saying hello, it pops up in my right-hand corner. I don't have to go back into Teams to respond to it. It'll pop up and ask me if I want to reply. All I have to do is click click on it, and it opens up a chat box right there, and I can, just type anything in there and hit great or whatever. So you don't have to be right in Teams to respond back to a chat.
Okay. So also with the paperclip, I can attach a file from my OneDrive or my computer. There's emojis that I could add to this. There are, I can type in good job, none are found. So let's just click on the star and I can add that. There are GIFs that I could add to give someone kudos.
And these are all provided through Microsoft.
Yep.
So
stickers, which are self-explanatory. Another key thing here. So again, this is a private chat between Jeff and I. I can click on schedule a meeting here, and then now at this point, it automatically will add Jeff because it's just a chat between him and I can give it a title, time, details. I could possibly invite someone else, but when you're in a chat, I noticed even a group chat, you can add someone who is part of the organization. You can't add someone externally at this time, and I'm not sure if that's an admin function, but within the chat, you can't add someone with an external email. So let's close that out.
And,
okay.
And Jose, I just want to point out that that's such a time saver. So as the three of us work through projects, if we're in a conversation and we know that we need to meet tomorrow to review documentation, I don't have to go external to Outlook anymore. I can go right in here and schedule the Teams meeting. So it saves me. It's clicks, right? So that's a time saver.
Okay, that's a good point because as I go into the Teams area, so these are my teams or my team workspaces. So we could literally be over 3 or 4 projects at one time, and some projects are in different phases, but because everything is collected here and broken down by topics or channels, then it's not like I have to get caught up on a project that I've been away from for 10 days. I can go into the Teams channel and then basically just review and get caught up by reviewing conversations, documents, so on and so forth.
And also, when we're looking at this on the Teams, you can collapse them because right now we probably have on our Divurgent side, we probably have 15 Teams channels set up right now. So for you to see quite a bit of them, you can hide them, do whatever you want with them also. So if you know a Teams that's just been out there and you haven't been in there in 4 or 5 months, it will always save it. So you just hide it. And then, if you ever want to go back to reference a file that's in there or something, because it's saving everything in SharePoint. So it's always will be there. So, but it will be part of it in Teams. So you don't have to go to SharePoint to find it. You just need to know, I was Divurgent webinar. So you'll always be able to go back to Divurgent webinar and see what was in there.
Yes. So let's just start from the top. So if I want to join or create a team, I go down to the bottom. I click on join team or create team. I go to create team in the middle here, which is the first card. So now I can build a team from scratch or create from an existing Office 365 group or team. So we'll build this one from scratch. You have the option of doing a private team. People need permission to join, or a public team. Anyone in your org can join. So let's do
And also,
public. Go ahead,
and
I'm sorry.
also if you know if you're doing the Office 365 group, it will add everybody that you need to be in that group. So if you got a group that has 30 people in there, you don't have to go in there and add them individually, like you would have to do on this part if you're adding that many people that
Yep.
are not part of the Office 365 group.
Yep. It's just like adding someone that's a part of a security group to
Yes.
permissions or to a distribution group to an email.
Yes.
So you give it a name, you type in a description. It's always good to have some sort of description so that those joining know what it's about, which they probably should already know what it's about. And we click create. And obviously we did a good job.
He sure did. Created that right away.
So now I add team members. So I'll add Jeff, right? And let's say I add Emily. Click on add. So the way I know it's done is because now I get a role status here on the right. So both of them are members. Now, I'm an owner because I created the team, but I can convert a member into an owner. So here I might want to make Jeff an owner and leave Emily as a member. All right, so now this is our new Teams workspace. It automatically creates the general channel because you need a channel to converse on. So let's go one to that we built out specifically for this webinar, and that's the XYZ Windows 10 project. So now we talked about the chat field. You can do everything here that we showed on the private chat and group chats. However, instead of a schedule a meeting, there's a meet now button. So basically you can create an impromptu meeting right there on the spot. Now, one thing I suggest is that before you click on meet now, turn off your video because it does default to your video on, and I'm not sure if that will change in the future. You can
And when he's saying it, it defaults to on, it turns it on. So if you had it turned off, it would automatically turn it on. We have found this out previously, but it does turn it on. So people will be able to see you. So that's why you have to go right in there really quick and turn it off. If you're doing this just as an individual, then you're okay. Just turn it off.
So I can give it a subject, and I'll call it closeout, and then I can click on meet now. I can't do that right this second because it will take me into that meeting, disconnect me from this one, or putting this one on hold. So I'll cancel out of that. Okay. So we talked about the integration of these web apps. So if you go on the three dots here, it gives you a pop-out menu. If you go to more apps, you get the same screen as you saw in the presentation, where you have these different web applications that you can integrate into Teams. So we took the liberty of integrating a few so that we can just give you a little snapshot of what that looks like and how it works.
And these do get updated quite a bit and frequently. So
if I were to click on, let's say, Adobe Creative Cloud, and then add for you, add to team, yes, and then I have to search for the team, I can choose a team, and I can just click install, and it will install that app.
And it will install it for the whole team. So anybody that's part of that channel and that team, they will be able to use this integration.
So right now it's asking me what channel do I want to use the app. So I would pick whatever channel I needed. And then I could also set up bot, tab, or messaging. And I'll explain that in a second. So let's say tab. Okay, so at this point, I would have to sign in with my Adobe ID. So if I don't have one, I would go out to Adobe and create one. Or if I do have one, I would go ahead and sign in. So I'm going to cancel out of this. I just want to give you an example of how easy it is to install one.
And some of these apps, will need credentials to sign in to do the connectors. For like Salesforce, Adobe, there are some out there that are just freeware that Microsoft has approved that you don't need an account for, and there are some out there that want you to pay if you want the professional version of it, but they'll let you use the dumbed down version.
Okay. So one of the ones that we connected was Zendesk, right? So I created a dummy Zendesk account, and it gave me the options of creating tabs at the top, right? So every channel has these same tabs at the top, and the default ones are conversations, files, and wiki. These other ones are ones that we've added. So for Zendesk, I wanted to monitor unassigned tickets, new tickets, and unsolved tickets. So if I go to unassigned tickets, obviously I have none. New tickets in my group, I have none.
You're doing good, Jose.
Oh, I
got
am.
them all cleared out.
Yes, sir. So then all unsolved tickets, I have 2.
Oh.
Okay. So now this is just a dashboard. So the way Zendesk is set up, if I click on one of these, it would take me out to the Zendesk site. I would be already signed in, and I could actually work on the ticket, assign it to someone, or escalate it, or whatever need be.
So you will get the notification in here if you signed in through Teams. You will get the notification here where you could always look and see in here. So you don't have to go out to the internet to see whether or not you have tickets or if it's not notifying you. It's in here. It will notify you in here.
Yeah, it just helps drive your daily operations.
Yep. Try to condense everything into Teams.
So we also added glossary, and it comes blank, right? So I thought this would be good for when we're on a project and we hire some techs on specifically for that project. Some of them may have a lot of experience, and some of them might still be novices and less than 2 years of experience. So I said, hey, let's create a glossary of project terminology, right? So we got assumptions, going to the C, we have more here, right? And then
the one thing we added was acronyms. So so like SCCM. So if somebody just types in SCCM, it gives you that the acronym, what it means, and then we've added this feature to it, the description of what a system center configuration manager means, and then we added synonyms that we think that could be added to that. So if somebody's looking for configuration manager, CM, config manager there, that we know that if you're looking for those, then it will take you to this when you're looking in the glossary.
Yeah, so all we did was add this term and added the synonyms, and the AI in this particular application works great because it automatically took those synonyms and added them because they started with C and put them in the C section as well. So if you're looking for CM, it says go to SCCM. You're looking for config manager, go to SCCM. Configuration manager, go to SCCM. So again, that's all the artificial intelligence of the application. So I really did like that.
So everybody in your channel will have access to this, and everybody in that channel will be able to add to this. So it will grow over time, and it'll always be there, so people will know. So you do have some knowledge base of terms and stuff that are being used.
Mm-hmm. So if we go into the Microsoft 365 implementation channel, here, what you see, these highlighted areas, is basically things that we've added to the channel. One is a Word documentation. A Word doc. The other one was a project notebook. So every time you create a team, it automatically creates a OneNote notebook for that team in SharePoint. Okay, and I'll show you that in a second. The other app that we integrated into this particular channel was Microsoft Planner, right? So what I did was at the top, I created a tab for the planner. So if we go to that tab, so now we see the cards or the tasks that we have created for this specific project. So here we'll focus on the kickoff card, and this task is assigned to 3 of us, right? So if I open that up, I gave it a description, I gave it a due date. You can create checklists all within inside of the of Planner, and then I've added some attachments that would help as a resource, or any information that needs to be conveyed to the team that they can click on and view um, at their leisure, or whenever they have time. You can post comments here that the team members can see. And as we complete these tasks, or in this case, this particular task has several components to it. So we can just click on what's done, and then it eliminates from the checklist what tasks we have left, um, or shows only the tasks that we have left. If you go on the card, you see these already crossed out. Okay, and then these labels here, quickly, you can click on create a tab that says, let's say, we did approved and change request. So whenever you see that color tab on a certain card, you already know what it is. So another tab, I appended the notebook, the OneNote notebook for this particular team onto the tab. So, and all of this is OneNote, but it's just opening up inside of Teams. So here we just have one page, and basically it's just a list of all the hardware that we need to consider for this particular project. Okay. All right. So,
Jose,
yep.
I just wanted to add that from a project management perspective, how helpful this has been. So I can have a several thousand lines project plan with a roll-up task and planner on the Teams room, and that way people can keep tabs of their specific responsibilities, and it's a quick dashboard for us all kind of to know where the location and where the status is for the project. So I just wanted to add from my project management perspective, this has been a pretty cool view to have in just my workspace on a daily basis.
Yep. And a quick note, when we talked about the cross-platform and using your mobile phones and tablets, it's not just for viewing or joining the meeting. I've actually presented or test presenting PowerPoint presentation slides, and I can view everything I'm seeing here, like the OneNote, the planner. I can see all of that from my mobile device.
And just to highlight that, it is like you're using your desktop. I mean, there's no fuzziness. It's not like you're on the web or the internet browser. It is, you really feel like you're using the desktop.
So let's head over to the meetings space. So here, any meeting that is on your Outlook calendar will show up here. Okay. So right now we have this. We're in a meeting. It's not this particular meeting, but I can click on a meeting, and again, right, I can chat with participants of this meeting. I can join the meeting, and the join Microsoft Teams meeting link is here. And that's just in case if you get it on an email and you click on that, and it can either take you to the web, or if you have the Teams app installed, it will ask you, do you want to open it up in your Teams app?
And also in here is because of this user particularly here that does not have a phone number associated with them for a meeting room. So that's the only reason why it does not show that. But you can still join this meeting. You just would not be able to call in. But if you have Teams on your phone, all you have to do is open up your Teams and click join, because it'll give you a notice saying, hey, you got a meeting here in 2 minutes. Do you want to join? And you click join. So you really don't need the phone numbers.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So scheduling meeting is easy. Click on schedule meeting at the bottom. I can enter a title in. I can type in a brief description. There's some formatting options. Give it a date and time, and then invite someone, and I'll invite myself, and schedule. I also have the option of doing it inside a Teams workspace. I will say that when you set this, now you're not able to invite someone with an external email address. So if it's someone who's a client, potential client, or something of that matter, you want to leave this just by default on none. If it is people in a specific team, you can go ahead and click on that and click on a channel and do it that way.
And also the external invite people is an admin setting. So if you can't use it when it's, once you've gotten it set up, the admin needs to go in there and just enable that so you can schedule external.
This is the field that I get once I completed or scheduled the meeting, and I can join, chat with participants, just a different screen of what we just showed, right? So I'm going to close that out. So one thing that I have not shown you yet is that I also added Zoom's AI assistant. And if I go to chats, you can see where I've plugged her in right here. Okay, assistant at zoom.ai. So I can say meet with Jeff Baker on Monday about budgets. And I click send. So she returns a reply, says Divergent. You asked me to schedule a meeting, title budgets, on May 13th between 9 and 5 p.m. for 30 minutes, right, with Jeff Baker. So I could either modify this or say, yes, it's correct.
And then once he says yes, I will get a meeting invite.
Yep.
And so I can accept it, and he'll show you the screenshots here real quick if you want to while I talk about it, Jose. Mm-hmm. That once I click on it, I can respond to it, and then once I respond to it, I can either say, I've got the choice of 9 to 5. I would click on respond to this meeting, and then it would go to the next slide that he has. And then I have my choice of the times. This is what he has open on his schedule for Monday the 13th. So I could choose any of those, or I could choose another date also too. So, but I can decline it, but it will ask you to try to put 3 times in there. So you just click on them, and then at the bottom of it, it'll say confirm, and you click confirm, and then it added the meeting. And then you'll get another meeting invite back in your email box saying, you've accepted this meeting. Let's put an invite in your, and it's instead of it being tentative, you just need to confirm it in your e-box again.
Yes, absolutely. I want to show
great feature.
I love it. I want to show one more quick thing here in Teams. Give me a second here. All right, so when you create a channel, a Teams workspace and channels, so what I can do here is on the 3 dots next to the channel, I can click on that and it says get email address. So I can copy this email address and I can forward emails or email that particular channel. And I'm going to try to show where I've emailed something prior to. Okay, so this was an email that Microsoft Planner was sending me that I have tasks, right? So click on see more. So it shows the email. And again, it could be information that the group needs to see and I want to share with the group. So I can just email the Teams channel and the entire group can view the email for themselves.
And then, okay. And then Jose, let's go to because I know we're within 10 minutes of our deadline.
Yes.
Let's go to the Word document. We want to show you some collaboration between Jose and I, what you can do. And this could be Word, it can be PowerPoint. And just an example, we were at a client site working on a PowerPoint presentation. There was 4 of us sitting there at the desk. We were all in the PowerPoint together, and we had somebody that was in Virginia helping us also on the, so we had 5 people in there collaborating, fixing the PowerPoint as we spoke, and then as we walked up to the client's office.
So we can go into the document, and I can click on edit, which will automatically give me the options of editing it within Teams. If I click on the down arrow next to edit, I have the option of not only editing in Teams, but in Word or Word Online. I'm going to go ahead and edit it within Teams.
And why that's opening up, if you do in Word, it will open up in Word like you've downloaded it, and you have to click share if you want to do the collaboration part of it, which will be in the top right where Divergent webinar is sitting, it would be a share symbol. And all you got to do is click share, and then it will share with who's there. But you can add other people to that share also, so they can see that you're changing things in the document. Jose can see that I'm in this document because I did the document where I opened it up in Word. If you try to open up online, it's a little bit more limited. Just as an FYI, so you're doing it through the browser. But these two are the best way to collaborate on this.
So I can see here with this red cursor that's Jeff Baker. So as he's typing things, I can see what he's typing, and whatever I'm doing, he can see as well. And I've worked on these documents. I've worked on a presentation with up to 6 people at one time. And when I tell you it's a time saver and it lessens the headaches of this asynchronous communication, it really does. Okay, so we can cut it there and then hand it back to Emily. And if you guys have any questions.
Yep. So we have to, and thanks, you guys. I want to add 2 points. The AI, so the Zoom AI. If you go back to that, Jose, as somebody who leads a lot of meetings, both inside and outside the organization, this is going to be a huge time save for me personally, because I can set it up so that people can respond back to me. I know over the course of this week, I had 17 emails going back and forth, just trying to account for when we could set up a meeting. So I think that is a huge time saver. And the other thing is that collaboration on the documentation. So I could assign each of you certain slides, and Jose's working on slide 1 through 5, while Jeff works on 5 through 10. I've got somebody else working on 10 through 15, and we just know where we are in the documentation so that we can do real-time review and save ourselves a phone call as well.
And one other thing that I wanted to emphasize too is that it saves simultaneously. So if we're working on the document, it's continuously being saved. So you're not going to lose anything. So it's not like it saves in 5 minutes or a minute or whatever. It's continually saving.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to open up. So it looks like, guys, in our chat. So if you guys open up the meeting chat, we have a couple of, potentially we have a couple of unanswered questions. So just a couple that did come in regarding regarding access and security. All of this is built on the Office 365 security. So we do know that it's a secured environment. Let's look at a question from Jason. So these chats can provide the same functionality as the persistent chat rooms and Skype for Business. Jose, do you want to respond to that?
Oh, I'm sorry. What was the question again?
So the chat being able to provide the same functionality as in chat rooms and Skype for Business.
Correct. Yes, I think it enhances. It's basically Skype for Business chatting on steroids, if you will. Yes. Because there's so much more that you can do. Yeah, and we talked about Slack in the beginning, right? So Slack was a tool that a lot of companies use alongside of Skype for Business for collaboration. So to have all of that and more in one app, I mean, Microsoft really drove this home. So yes. Great.
Awesome. This is a really good question. So can you make teams from Active Directory groups? And, the answer to that is yes. So that could potentially, Jeff, I don't know if you wanted to add, we've got a couple unanswered questions. So if you want to respond quickly.
Yes. At the high level, yes, you will be able to add, as a OU, as a group or a channel. They don't have the connector yet, but from what I've seen in the forums, that they are trying to add that connector so it's an easy import. But I'm not going to say that's going to be that way for at least a year. Who knows? You know how Microsoft is on some things, that they're on it right away, and others they're not. But it can be done at a higher level. It's just got to be a little bit different on how you're getting them in there. But once you're on the Office 365 platform, then those AD groups can convert into Office 365 groups, and the answer will be definitely yes.
Okay, awesome. And our next question: can we conduct an open meeting without specifically identified participants. And yes, guys, that's the live feature, correct? We discussed the next one of these being run on Microsoft, the live team meeting, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then our last question, does the typical end user have capability to add the apps into Teams?
Yes.
Yes.
So the user that I used to create this, the webinar and all the content that I displayed was just a blanket user, and it had 0 permissions. The only thing that you would need if you're adding a web app that is connected to a database somewhere else, obviously you have to enter your credentials, but yes, you can add the apps just from a basic or typical end user.
And you can, set permissions as a owner of the channel, to 2 or 3 people, but everybody in that channel that is not the owner can add apps, but that owner can go in there and remove the app also.
Or cancel your meetings.
Yes, or cancel the meetings altogether.
Oh, so that's why you guys haven't been attending my meetings. No. All right. Any other questions? Feel free to unmute your phone lines if you'd like to and ask questions. We've got about 4 minutes left. If anybody has any other questions, feel free to either ask here in the chat, or if you'd like to unmute yourselves, feel free. Questions?
And the only thing I'd like to add is I just hope people have got a little bit more insight into this product. We have really been using this product the last 4 or 5 months in depth. And, we heard about it a year ago and we're like, but boy, once we started getting into it and we just seen everything that they've been adding to it and how great the collaboration really helped us out, because not everybody's always in the same place. This product is, to me, it's really amazing. And then you see some of the other connectors you can add to I know Emily has fell in love with it too.
Yes.
All right.
I want to add one.
There's no other.
I want to add one more thing as far as meetings are concerned. So it just like with Skype for Business, you can designate if you have a physical location, right? You have conference rooms. You can designate certain rooms within Teams, and then those teams, would have phones that would connect to meetings. When you create the meeting, you can schedule it for that particular room, so that way, when you walk into that room, the phone is just ready, and you open up the line, and the meeting is live. Or you could be walking with your iPad and be connected to a meeting, walk past a room and just switch the meeting to that room, the phone in that room.
And just to add on to that is that we've just really scratched the surface of letting everybody see what we've been doing. There is a ton of more things that it can be integrated with and moved with. So this is a great product.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks to Jeff and Jose for the information and content today. And thanks to everybody who attended. We will send out the link to the recording, and feel free to share that with other team members. If there's any topics that you wish had been covered, feel free to connect with us, and we'll look to schedule some additional sessions, maybe some more technical aspects, or deep dive into one specific area of Teams if there's the interest. But we really appreciate you taking the time this afternoon, and we hope that everyone has a great weekend. So thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
All right. Thanks. Bye.